So when I was watching this episode, I thought the title LA Times was appropriate because, man, did they reveal a lot of stuff in this episode. I think I need some coffee. Hi guys, my name is Maria Park and this is Approach to Nerd. In this episode, we are reviewing episode 4 of the Lword Generation Q entitled LA Times. And oh boy, was this like a reveal. This was like an expose on almost every character in there. I mean, we learned something about every one of them in this episode. I think the best thing to do is to just not really go in order, but like go by character. And last review, I think I went from the oldies to the newbies. I think I'm going to do the newbies to the oldies now because a lot of stuff happened and I want to get the newbie stuff out of the way because, yeah, Shane, Bette, and Alice had huge things going on in this episode. So let's start with Micah, because Micah Lee wasn't really in this a lot. We only saw Micah in the party scene, which I will go into later. But to make a long story short, we did learn one revelation is that Micah dated Dani when they were in college. So I'm thinking it's kind of like back when Micah first came out, before coming out as trans, he probably came out as a lesbian, and that's why him and Dani kind of got together. And so maybe the reason they're no longer together is because Micah came out as trans, and of course Dani is into women. So that could be a thing. I don't know. I'm actually married to a trans male who's Korean American. I'm actually the more queer one in this relationship because I'm bisexual. But I think it's interesting. I like how they played that. I'd love for them to actually develop that a little bit more, explain their background or their backstory a little bit more. I think that would be very interesting. But so Micah in the episode is at the party with the guy that he picked up on Grindr, who is whatever. Something is wrong with him. But Jose shows up and he's like coming up to Micah like everything's good. And he's like all over Micah. And Micah at one point is like, hold on, we need to talk. What is going on? Are you into me? What the heck do you want? And Jose just like pushes Micah against the wall and then starts kissing him. And that's literally the amount of interaction that Micah has in this episode. He's not really in any other parts. So, yeah, there's that. And then we come to Dani. Dani plays two roles. One is dealing with Bette, which I will get into later, and then another is dealing with Sophie. So I'm just going to talk about what's going on with her and Sophie. So we learned another revelation. They have a bathtub scene where Sophie basically says that she misses Dani, she misses hanging out with her. And so basically, Dani has said that she feels insecure with Sophie because when she met Sophie, Sophie had a girlfriend. And if she could leave that girlfriend, then why wouldn't she leave her? Which is understandable. But then Sophie goes and gets her great-grandmother's ring and gives it to her and says, it's because she wasn't you. So for all intents and purposes, it looks like they're doing okay. I don't know what's going on with the wedding venue because they didn't talk about the wedding venue. It wasn't even something that came up. I think Dani mentioned her dad for like a microsecond, but none of that got addressed. So I don't know how they're handling the discrepancy over the father wanting to take control of their wedding. But from what it looks like, they're still okay. I'm kind of labeling them the new Tina and Bette, but hopefully they will have a better outcome. So, all right, so that's that. And then there's Finley. Poor Finley. Finley and Rebecca were snuggling in bed, and Rebecca says, oh, I think I'm developing feelings for you. Well, Finley doesn't know what to do because Finley is socially awkward and I don't think has actually had a real relationship in her entire life. So she just kind of, brushes over it and then gets saved by somebody coming to the door. But later, she's talking to Sophie, and Sophie asks how she feels about Rebecca, and she says she feels kind of tingly or weird in her stomach. And then, of course, Sophie's like, that's love. And, Finley's like, no. Well, fast forward to the party that they're throwing where Finley has taken liberties with the guest list and invited a lot of other people, which is why Jose was there for Micah. And she's saying that she wishes that Rebecca was there, and Sophie gives her like this heart to heart. So then Finley's like, I'm going to go tell her how I feel. So earlier in the the episode, Rebecca had actually mentioned that she hoped she could get over the priest thing, along with her having a party that she was going to have with some friends. I guess it was like a dinner, actually, that she was having with some friends at her place, and she invited Finley. But Finley had already had obligations to this party. Well, Finley shows up at the house during the dinner party. She's intoxicated because she didn't realize there was going to be free booze, so she started drinking out of a flask before she even got to this party. So she rode her bike to Rebecca's house, and the first thing she does is F it up. She says, you asked me if I can get over it, you being a priest, and of course I can, because you're not really a priest, and MCC is not really a church. And she's like, and Rebecca's like, that's very hurtful. And then Finley's like, no, you don't realize I can be with you because you're not real. And it's like, so of course Rebecca tells her to go. She's like, go home, get away from me, basically. And I was like, oh, Finley, why? I don't know what's going to happen with that. I like them together. They're very cute. I just need Finley to stop self-sabotaging her life. So I'm hoping next week's episode will redeem, Finley, and maybe she can work out the verbal diarrhea moment she had with Rebecca. Because, as it stands, I don't think they're together right now. So that was Finley. All right, so now we're going to move on to Bette. A huge revelation was revealed with Bette. We finally understand why she's running for mayor, and that is because Kit overdosed on heroin and died. And Bette blames the system, and that is why she's running for mayor. And I get it. And it's so heartbreaking. If you're an OG Lword fan, it's hard because Kit had her life together. By the time that the series ended, things were good with her. So I don't know what made her go to heroin. It's just sad. It's sad of the outcome. A lot of the things from the OG Lword are sad. Like, we still don't know what happened with Tasha and Alice. What happened? So, it's just really weird. So, so that's the reason that she's running for mayor. I had a feeling it was something to do with Kit. I just was hoping that it wasn't a death. Maybe just an overdose. But, it looks like she overdosed and died. And so, that's why she's running, and that's also why she's attached to Felicity and why she's still sleeping with her, because Felicity was there for her when her sister died and Tina wasn't. And so it's hard for her to let go of that. And now it makes sense. It's not just Bette just being an F up. She's self-sabotaging her life as well. And Dani basically not only saw them last episode where Felicity was going into the hotel room, she also asked Bette if she got her email. And Bette says, oh, I haven't checked. And she picked her phone up and she has Felicity's phone. And so Dani basically says, I will handle it. And she goes to Felicity and says, look, you were ruining her chances of being mayor. You're ruining her life. And it basically handles the situation like she used to do for her dad with Big Pharma and all the cover-ups and opioids and stuff like that. And then she goes back to Bette and she tells Bette, you can either run for mayor or you can be with her. But you can't have both. I wish the world were different, but it's not. And she gives her an ultimatum and, walks out. And I'm like, wow, Dani's being hard, but I like it, And when she approaches Bette later at the party that they're going to throw, she asks Bette, she says, did you make a decision? And Bette does say that she's going to give her up. She's going to, because she owes it to Kit. She also had a heart-to-heart with Shane about it, where she confesses that she was still sleeping with Felicity. And so I think that whole interaction in that scene with the heart-to-heart with Shane kind of made her see a little bit in perspective that she is self-sabotaging. She's doing this for her sister. And by being with Felicity, she really is essentially ruining her chances of being elected. So there's that. So moving on to Shane. So it's Shane's 40th birthday, which is why they're having a party. She doesn't want to do anything. She doesn't want to celebrate. So, of course, Alice and Bette are like, oh, we'll just have drinks at your club, We know that's not going to happen. Lword always has huge parties. But anyway, we have another revelation from Shane. We learned that the reason that her and her wife, Kiora, and I hope I'm saying that right, are getting divorced is because her wife wants kids, but she still wants to be able to go on tour. So I'm assuming she's like a musician or singer or something. She wants to be able to tour. And Shane essentially doesn't want to be a single mother. As someone who has been a single mother for a very long time before I got married, I understand. My daughter is 23 now, but I understand how hard it is to raise a child by yourself, so I get it. It's sad. So that means that they still love each other, but because of of Shane not wanting to have children, that is essentially why the wife filed for divorce. So they have the party, and it's very awkward because, Shane got it on with Lena, and Lena and Tess are both still together and are still both Shane's employees. And at the birthday party, Lena is all over Shane in front of Tess. So Tess confronts Lena about it, and Lena basically says, I'm sorry. And Tess is like, I can't talk to you. I can't handle this. And she walks out. So this essentially is going to be another headache for Shane down the road because they both are the only two employees that Shane has. And Tess knows everything about running that bar, and Shane knows nothing. And she's basically screwed Tessa's girlfriend. So the old Shane qualities are still there. Shane also, during the heart-to-heart with, Bette, back at her place, signed the divorce papers. So she's like, I'm going to move on to new beginnings. I'm getting divorced on my birthday. And then at the end of the episode, Shane's wife is standing there saying happy birthday. So I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. So yeah, that's going to be interesting for next episode. A really quick add-in is that Shane also does something extremely cool. She takes Alice and Bette to the club and reveals the name of the new name of the club, which is Dana's. And if you're an original Lword fan, our sweet Dana passed from breast cancer, and to me has always been the love of Alice's life. So that was a really good homage to her. So yeah, that was very cool. Okay, so Alice. So the LA Times, which is why the episode's called LA Times, is doing like an expose on Alice for her show. And they dub her the Queen of Queer. It's a very interesting situation because Nat was interviewed and asked, how do they make their work life and personal life balance work? And of course, Nat's like, oh, we don't, it's hard. It's like, oh. So of course I put doubt in Alice's mind, meaning that they're not working at it or they're not working together very well. So she asked her about it at the party, and they're both like, oh no, everything's great. We have demanding jobs, blah, blah, blah. We're kicking butt. Now the whole party, Nat is giving love, goo-goo eyes to Gigi, who's giving them right back. So a lot of alcohol is involved a little bit later, and so Alice asks her, because she sees her looking at Gigi talking up another woman, or Nat is, and Alice asks Nat, are you still attracted to her? Do you still want her? And she said, well, I want you. And she said, and I want her. So this, of course, leads to a threesome in the back room of the club between Alice, Gigi, and Nat. And I'm like, Alice, what are you doing? So now somehow their relationship is going to go between, from two, women who share custody of children with Alice as the girlfriend who helps out, to a polyamorous relationship. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't understand how this works. So yeah, Alice just has made more trouble for herself. She is so bad in relationships. It's weird. I liked her with Tasha, but I really liked her with Dana. And I feel like Dana was her thing. And when Dana died, it's almost like there's no hope for her after that. But most of it is because of the choices that she makes. And I really don't understand them. So that's a problem. It really is. So yeah, I don't know how they come back from that. Next week's episode is going to be very interesting. So to recap, we don't know what's going on with Micah and Jose. We don't know what's going to happen with Shayna and Shane, and Shane's ex-wife. We don't know what's going to happen, or soon-to-be ex-wife. We don't know what's going to happen between Shane and the employees, with Tess and Lena. We don't know what's going to happen with Bette and with Felicity. Are they actually going to call it quits, or is she not going to be able to let her go? I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with Finley and Rebecca because Finley completely screwed that up. We don't know if the dad's going to come more into play between Dani and Sophie. They are at a ceasefire right now. They're lovey-dovey, but Daddy's still there and Daddy's still doing stuff. So, what's going to happen with that? Alice, train wreck. Train wreck. We didn't see any of Angie in this episode, Bette and Tina's daughter, so I don't know what was going on with her. But, yeah, a lot has happened in this episode. And forgive me if I forgot anything. I don't think that I did. I think I got all the revelations out, but you never know. So if I missed something, please leave me a comment below. Or if you have a theory of what's going to happen, or just give me your opinion, leave me a comment below. And if you would like to sign up for jury duty, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to know who's next on the Nerd Bell, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I can't wait for you to approach the nerd. Bye, guys. And if you have time, don't forget to check out some of these other videos.